Alright, everyone, we're live here. Very good evening. I know it's a tough time for everyone and we're finding it hard to smile, but let's just keep our fingers crossed and let's hope that everything's going to be alright very soon. On this note, hello, pet parents and pet lovers. As we all know, the past 1 year has been very challenging for all of us. The entire continent, the entire world, India, everyone, all of us has been struggling. Right from the lockdown to adjusting and adapting to the new normal, we have been through many ups and downs. Our vets have also faced some of the challenges they have never seen before, dealing with the ignorance towards animals during the pandemic, from increasing their potential with less staff, keeping pet parents tension free in the absence of regular vet visits were only few of them. We sincerely express our gratitude to all the vets who have been working tirelessly and day and night during these tough and challenging times, for the safety and well-being of the animals around us. My name is Manvi, and on behalf of Purina Flow Plan and PetFed, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you here. And of course, I'd like to congratulate the entire everyone fraternity, the vet fraternity, a very happy veterinary day, and let's make sure that the entire fraternity comes together and help the voiceless. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to discuss the veterinarian response to the COVID-19 crisis and the road ahead as we steer in the new normal. To take this discussion ahead, we have some very well-known and reputed names from the veterinary industry. I'd like to welcome first of all Dr. Pawan Kumar, a motivational speaker, founder and vet at Cessna Lifestyle Veterinary Hospital, Dr. Aradhana Pandey, senior experienced vet and founder of Doggy World. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us here, and we are really honored to have both of you here with us right now. Also, ladies and gentlemen, and all the pet parents and pet lovers who have already joined us and who are going to join us later on as well. We will also have Dr. Vinod Sharma joining us in a while. He is the head of vet services at DCC Animal Hospital. Of course, he is taking care of our little furry friend right now, and but soon he's going to be with us. So quickly, Dr. Pavan and Dr. Radna, how are we doing this evening? And how are we coping up with the pandemic, first of all? Let's begin
Yeah,
with Dr. Pavan.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for so much for giving an opportunity to speak here. And I know it's a very difficult situations for each and everyone around the world. And I think now it's becoming like a flood. I think before one or two persons was getting corona, but now the whole apartment is getting it like that. So when we talk about the veterinary practice, it's a very difficult situations all over, but somehow with the support of staff, very important with the support of the clients. And I think the media and the online and digital way has really been a great help actually during this situation. So I think the necessity is the mother of invention. So I think when the situations came, whether it's a clients or whether it's a pets or whether it's a veterinarian, they have modified themselves to give the best to the pets and animals what they deserve actually. I think we also are doing
Absolutely.
our bit of that in that regard.
And of course, we cannot be more thankful to you for helping, everyone out there. Thank you so much for lending that hand. We also have Dr. Vinod Sharma. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for joining us. Yeah, actually,
Oh,
you're bang on time. We just started just a little ice breaking, asking how the vets have been coping up with this current situation. So, Dr. Aradhana, what do you have to say about all of this, and how are you coping up with your mental health? And of course, every day, I'm sure you get so many patients, and everyone is struggling in their own way. So, what do you have to say about that?
uh,
First of all, I'd like to say that I'm really happy to be back with my favorite people, like the pet parents. And as you asked me, how are you coping? I think I'm coping only because of the pets and all. Since they are around us, so they give us a positive energy. And because of all those things, we have been able to pass through this terrible time. As far as
Totally.
conditions are concerned, it's deteriorating day by day, but still we are keeping our fingers crossed and coping up with all the stresses.
Absolutely, and thank you so much once again, you guys. You guys have been doing, doing wonders and helping everyone out there who are in absolute need at this moment. Well, coming to you, Dr. Vinod Sharma, I know you are taking care of some patients right now, and
Yes.
finally you made it here. So, how have you been, dealing with all of it, and how have you been, always with a smile on your face, irrespective of seeing what is the number of cases which are coming in front of you every passing day.
Uh, it was a challenging time. I've been thinking last since March, since the lockdown. I don't remember I have taken a single day off, and I enjoyed my days working with animals. They all this, as Dr. Anuradha, just said, is a positive energy, and the positive people they come to you, and yeah, we are strong enough, and I think so. It's a blessing of all the animals we were treating and caring about, and the God and our precautions. We are trying to take all the precautions of the COVID and follow the protocols, and so far so good. I think so we have coped up, and future I think so we will take care. Rest, nobody knows what the situation is going to be, and as Dr. Pawan and Dr. Aradhana had just added, coming days are going to be challenging more, and let's hope for the best.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure with the people like you, who've been lending a helping hand to the humanity and been, working 24/7 to make sure that there's nobody who's sleeping with weeping eyes, and, all of that. So thank you once again, you guys. Also like to tell you that our doctors will be taking and answering selected questions from the audiences. So please feel free to ask any questions, any doubt, any queries that you might have, because this is very limited chance that we get a one-on-one conversation with our vet all together. Of course, it's the World Veterinary Day, and what better way to celebrate this day by having all of you talented intellectuals and doctors here on board with us. Okay, so let's begin with our panel discussion with some interesting questions that most of us we have on our minds. Of course, I am a dog lover, a pet lover, not just a dog, but a pet lover, animal lover in totality. And there are a lot of questions that me and other like-minded people we have. So, are we ready, doctors?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, fantastic. Okay, so let's begin with the lady on panel. Let's begin with you, Dr. Radna. So please tell us about your journey through these rapidly changing conditions during the pandemic. Have the situations changed, or is there any improvement on that front? So let's begin with you, Dr. Radna.
Manvi, since it's all started all of a sudden, no one was prepared for something like this. I think we have seen such sort of a thing in the first time in the life, something of this happening. So initially, it was a lot of confusion was there. People even were abandoning the dogs because they felt that they might be a source of infection to them. So there was a lot of confusion. There was lots and lots of compulsive buying was there. People were unnecessarily running for the dog food and for the medicines. They were not sure how long the medicines or the stocks will be available. So initially it was a very confusing state, but slowly and slowly over a period of time, the things developed. Obviously, we also changed our type of working, trying to segregate the type of cases, trying to take the cases as per the priority, and then giving specific appointments, trying to be more online also, taking care of the patients. So eventually, slowly and slowly, the things improved with all the biosecurity measures that we were trying to take. And obviously, the hygiene aspect and everything has improved over a period of time, though we try to keep all the hygienic things initially also. But with this type of thing happening around, these biosecurity measures were further on improved upon. Apart from there, that client handling, it also changed to a greater extent. Like initially, whenever a person used to buy a puppy, we were like trying to teach him maximum in the clinic how to take care of him, how to cater to his needs. But now we have tried to move on more on a medias, like through YouTubes and through videos on the YouTube. We have asked them to go through these things so that by the time they come to the clinic, at least they know 50% of the things. And their time in the clinic is reduced down further. So teaching, trying to explain things beforehand, that has improved over a period of time. It improved, the situations comparatively improved to a certain extent towards the starting of this year. But what has happened just now, it's like no one has imagined that it's going to come up in such a big thing. And obviously now the situations are even worse than what it was last year. So what I feel is that this is a time where we need to take care of the things more seriously, and we need to be more on a telecommunication sort of a thing, talking to the clients more on the through the phone and all. That would be a better option, so that the client and our contact is minimized to the maximum. So this is what I feel, that over a period of time these changes have occurred. And to further on this, I think the need of the hour is telecommunication or this consultation. Though it is not very feasible in our line, because a human person can tell exactly where the problem is or how to take care of the problem. But in our case, our clients, our pets, they can't tell us in detail about what exactly is happening to it. So these are some of the changes that we observed. I think Manvi got
Hi.
some problem there.
Yes, I think there's some issue on Manvi's end. So, hi, I'm Ashna, and I'll just take it from where she left. Thank you, Dr. Aradhana, for filling in the space for us. The next thing that we have on mind now is for you, Dr. Pawan. As we know, pets could not be taken outside for a walk, for exercises, or any other activities. So, Dr. Pawan, how difficult was it to come up with ways in which pet parents could ensure that their pets are safe and healthy?
Yes, so that's quite a interesting question actually. That I know that this was a situation which every pet parents has encountered it. So there are two sides of this. One is the good side, because most of the people were at home, so they have spent a good amount of time with their pets. At the same time, they cannot go for the parks and outside and for the travel and visits and other things. So of course that has restrained the pets from exercise, fitness, and lots of things. So I think so this is one questions pet parents and clients has very often they have asked actually what to do in this situation. First thing is to keep them fit and fine. We have kind of very specifically using the, whether it's a social media or whether it's a videos and YouTubes and other thing, we have very specifically told them, because the time is going to be long. So, and mental enrichment and exercise is very important part actually. So we requested all the client, and we probably, even when they were asking questions, that take your pets for walk when the human movements are less actually, like early morning or late night when and when there is not too much of crowd and other things, so that they can protect their pet, and at the same time the spread of corona can be taken care. Second thing which became important is of course we requested them to avoid parks and other thing. Then another very important aspect which we have been very successfully able to implement in the client's brain actually, that was mental enrichment by playing at home, because being most of the people were at home, so we kind of been successful to convey that so playing with them also is equally important, because most of the people are on WhatsApp, YouTube, or on TV actually. So rather than request them spend some decent time to play with pets, because that's another way of keeping them fit and fine. Of course the situation has come that so lots of sickness, and whether it is a minor sickness or major sickness or maybe related to emergency situation has come. So we have started one situation to deal with pet parents issues during this time, is e-consultation. For less critical issues, we were kind of providing e-consultation and telemedicines, and for lots of issues we have kind of which are of and not very critical, be able to deal with that and guide the clients during that time. Another thing during this situation which has helped us is basically the staff. To be frank, if I tell you, we realize the situation is going to be bad and is going to be really long standing and don't know where is the end. So I think we had a really good training and discussion with the team, and they have been great help during this situation. So I think preparing them, training them, and making it agreeable for the given situation, because they need to change their gear actually before there is one way of working. Now we have a different way of working. So I think adaptation to the new situations and training of staff has been a great help during this time. Of course, I think as Dr. Aradhana has mentioned about that, using the videos and YouTube, that's also one situation which we have been very helpful. And fortunately, I think we have used the digital method to kind of take care of our whether it's appointment or services, and using the pet portal, because we created a kind of pet portal, and where the clients, whether it is blood report, whether there are questions, whether there is medical history, so all we brought it on that. So I think we made it most of the things as a paperless actually. So these are some things which we have developed during this time and which have been of great help. And indirectly that has helped to resolve the issues of pet parents. So
Yes.
yes, still miles to go.
Yes, surely, I'm sure. We have Manvi back online, so I'll just put her through and then she can take the rest of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Asha. I'm really sorry. Of course, another internet issues coming my way, but I make sure that doesn't happen again. Okay, yes. So, Dr. Vinod, thank you so much, Dr. Pawan and Dr. Radna. Coming back to you, Dr. Vinod. So, how difficult was it to deal with the pet parents and their anxiety issues? Of course, because if my little one is not well, I will not be able to sleep. I will not be able to eat anything. So, all of that in the absence of the regular vet visits. We'd like to know what are some of the things that you practiced on teleconsultations to keep this stress at bay.
See, last 30 years, I've been doing the practice physically examining and checking the dogs. And it was a big challenge for us to deal in this COVID conditions, when people they just keep on calling you and solve the problem. And as Dr. Pawan and Dr. Aradhana added, it's always good to examine physically. But it was a challenge for us as a DCC animal hospital, and we were just under the construction and we were developing ourselves. So we started with a telehealth, So that development we have done, we are using telehealth, teleconsultation, and as everybody added, like a lot of videos, lot of, talks with the phone, solving the problems out, helping them out for, like where to find the medicines, online helping them. So these were the small things which added in a big bag for the client, And I know all my clients which they approached us during this whole almost a year, and I'm sure everyone was happy. We were able to counsel them properly. We were able to just help them properly, because knowing the history of the animal and knowing the animal yourself, while examining and so many years, it helps us a lot.
Right.
So if you know the history
True.
personally and know the animal, easily you can just treat them over the phone. You can help them. You can guide them definitely. And all my pet parents, my clients are so good. They helped us and they cooperated. And whole year, I can guarantee you, not a single death in my system, not a single neglect. We were able to help each and every client. I'm glad about it.
That is such a fantastic thing to hear. At least some positive thing
And
that I've heard in today.
and as Dr. Pawan added, like training the staff, the teamwork, training the team, and thankful the government of India and the government of Haryana and Delhi, what COVID protocols they just given us, we followed them so strictly that even
Yes.
our staff was safe, the clients were safe, who came in and went out, everyone was happy and safe. So teamwork makes a lot of difference, as Dr. Pawan has added. And it's not Dr. Vinod Sharma not alone. It is a whole team. It's a DCCA team, and every cooperation from the clients, cooperation from even the pets. I'm thankful to them. They were good. They were good.
Absolutely.
And surgeries and small things we definitely performed. With things which we can postpone, we have postponed also. So, but we managed it nicely. So far, so good. And I'm sure, the situation which is in front of us today or going to be tomorrow, it will be a challenge, but we are capable of handling it perfectly.
Absolutely. I wish you, all the very best. This teamwork, of course, remains constant throughout, many more cases to come, of course, till the time you're taking on online consultations. Yes, Dr. Vinod.
And I was just adding, it was very painful for us because veterinary science was not considered to be an emergency service earlier. To finding the e-pass was a difficult problem. But now the government has also helped that way that, with
Yes.
veterinarians also getting the e-pass, and we are able to provide the help 24 into 7, which is, we are grateful to, everyone.
I know this has been a big, big relief to the entire vet fraternity and
Yeah.
pet parents and pet owners. So thank you so much. I don't see any audience question right now, so I'll move on to the next question, which is for Dr. Radna. And of course, feel free to add on any comments apart from the questions because I certainly am going to, give the questions to you. If you have any, any comments that you'd like to add on your own, so please feel free to do that. So, Dr. Radna, coming back to you, we're of course now dealing with another wave of coronavirus. So, what do you think? How prepared is this sector, the veterinary sector, and how do you foresee this practice of emerging stronger than we hope? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think, Manvi, we have changed ourselves over a period of time. Initially, it was yes difficult, but this wave, I think, majority of the big houses are totally prepared with for it because as far as the team is concerned, we have a motivated team that are working round the clock. They understand how important a veterinarian or a team of the veterinarian is for a pet fraternity, so they are there. Then the second thing, the medicinals and the supplies, because initially it was not known how long it's going to take, so now we have been prepared for all those things. Also we have been taking care of stocking the things according to the time, foreseeing the time. The third thing is trying to minimize upon the number of cases that are coming, and still give the maximum benefits to the people, through the tele conferencing and giving the medicines online. So trying to take care of the basic things on the phone itself, trying to prescribe the patient so that they don't have to come to the clinic for the small things. Even providing the medical facilities at their home, like sending across the medicines or whatever supplies they need for their pet uh, to the designated space. So slowly and slowly we have tried to organize the things in such a manner that the clients, the pets, don't face any sort of problems. Let it be team, let it be the medicines, let it be the treatment aspect, so it can be taken care of. And since it is taken care of at the back end, so the main thing, the emergencies or the surgeries or the critical patients, they can be dealt at the clinic without unnecessary increasing the rush to the clinics. So we have tried to
True.
streamline the things in that way. So I think this way we are better governing the things, and that things are under control in a better way this time.
Right. So more good powers and wishes and blessings coming, to all your way. You guys have been working amazingly. So all the very best to you, of course. So Dr. Pawan, as per the stats, if you have a look at it, and if you look at the inside, a lot of adoptions took place during the lockdown phase of the pandemic. So how are you able to deal with this new, with all the new pet owner thing remotely during the COVID times? And I personally have seen, people who were not pet lovers have adopted pets. Irrespective, they were able to take care of them or they were not able to take care of them. They still wanted a pet just to get away with the boredom. But now, when things got back to the normal, of course, the pet was sidelined. And so, all of this, if you could just tell us more about it.
Okay, so that's a good question, yeah, Manvi. So I think this was a very initially when the corona wave that started the first time. So I think the pets were people were abandoning them and kind of throwing up from the houses because of some uncertainties, which probably that maybe from the pets or from the animals it is going to human. But I think something has, I think immediately after some time it has changed very fast, that people started liking animals more and they started adopting pets more. I think there are 2-3 very important situations which we have encountered for that. I think one is because kids were staying at home, they had quite a bit of good time at home, and I think there has to be some, so then they started thinking about their life and associations and a better ecosystem actually. And I think as a part of the thing which emerges out is to adopt the pet and to play with them, and because how long they can kind of get comfort from the YouTube or WhatsApp and other things. So I think that probably became a very big reason for the adoption. And of course, the people generally were liking animals, and they understood the animal side of and pet side actually. So they understood them better, and I think the children kids has to be been a very important factor in this side. So we came across there quite a bit of adoptions are happening. Yeah, now when adoption is happening, many people are not well-to-do, and many people don't even know how to take care of them. Many people, they don't know about the vaccinations, deworming, and I think the maximum infectious disease comes in the early age of a puppy life or a kitten life. So, and they have encountered really huge problem that time, and I think that became a huge kind of load onto the veterinarians across India and all over actually that. Now, I think to deal with that, I know it was really challenging situations, whether it's a Dr. Aradhana or Dr. Vinod, all have faced it through. But I think one way we have helped it, because certain questions were related to the vaccinations and what to feed, how to do grooming, how to take care of toilet training. My dog is doing one potty, how to handle this part, his biting, nibbling behavior. This all I think we have handled well this by e-consultations or telemedicine. Plus staff or even some paravet staff was able to handle these kind of, some which is less medical situations, which can be just guided them for this. That's one way has kind of through e-consultation or through the telephonic conversation, we have been able to help them. Of course, then we have made some pre-drafted format for some known things, like for example, for vaccination, there's lots of questions were coming about vaccinations, what is to do, what to feed puppy, how to do toilet training, how to do grooming, how to do what is to do vaccinations, and all those questions were coming like it's like a diarrhea it was coming to. So then we made some pre-drafted format, and then we started sharing with them, because those are known situations. So we started sharing them through the email or maybe by WhatsApp, another thing. So that has another method which has really helped. Apart from that, I think, there's another situation which we have encountered during this time, because when the puppies are there and people are at different, they can't move and they can't come to the pet shops or pet clinics. So the one other bigger issue they were facing is the availability of medicine, and particularly the medicine which, mostly we were in the habit of using veterinary name and veterinary trade name and other things, but we changed our system. So we started sending them, kind of prescription with the medication name, and at the same time writing the name of ingredients, so that they can find a human variant, human alternative, so that, they don't need to run unnecessary for veterinary shops. Right. And so it make little more for a pet parent to make a life a little more easy. I think these are some simple but very important modifications we have done during the time, and so far we have kind of going through that part, and I think it's helping out. And people are much more intelligent, and of course, Dr. Google is helping them in many ways. Don't know how good or bad, but yes. So I think this is how we have kind of able to resolve the situations for them.
So of course, I think that's the first thing that comes to everyone's rescue. If nothing else is there, no vet is available. Okay, let me just quickly open Dr. Google and see if we can get any instant relief or any instant recommendation. But absolutely. Okay, Dr. Vinod, in this circumstance, were some non-emergency surgical procedures postponed? And if they were, till when is one expected to hold off, considering that the pandemic has been, a part of our lives for over a year now? So how do you tackle with such situations when it's, considering non-emergency surgical procedures are involved, or for that matter, any emergency surgeries are also involved?
See, when it comes to surgery, general procedure like spaying, neutering, all these procedures one can easily postpone, and we can delay them, and we can always guide them how to take care of it and how to look after the things, and how to avoid heat. And there are a couple of medicines where we can use and postpone the heat and stuff like that. That was one way of adopting it. And when it was necessary, like GDV or fractures or accidental cases, we have to do the surgery. So we have done all those procedures when it was needed, an emergency thing. But couple of things, cosmetic things or procedures can be avoided, and we have done that. And coming to, as Dr. Pawan was mentioning, developing telehealth and counseling them over the medication, deworming, vaccination, everything we've been doing all this. And it's a learning process. It was a good learning phase for us, that how we and where we can improve our practices. So we are improving slowly, and our technical team. It's a group of hospitals. We are working together, and we are developing every day. We are changing as per the situation changes. We also change. Yeah.
Okay, so quickly, now that we're on this conversation, we also had got a lot of questions in between. Dr. Vinod, is my voice clear? Dr. Aradhana, is my voice clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so somebody asked, my dog has eczema. What should I do? I have a Shih Tzu. So let's take Dr. Vinod for this question, and second question can be answered by Dr. Radhana.
See, when it comes to eczema, it's self-diagnosis again. The Google, the Dr. Google. I'm so looking at it's very difficult to say whether it's eczema or some other problem. So if they can just go to the doctor, nearby doctor, number one, in the COVID condition, nobody can go. So they can always book an e-consultation or the telehealth consultation and show the picture, show the video, show the thing, and take a consultation from there. That will be the ideal thing. It is better not to advise any medication or any conversation like this, because it can be dangerous also. It will not be help also. So better to, they can do telehealth consultation with us also, Dr. Radhana, or anybody nearby who is using it.
Right.
That will be beneficial.
Right. So I would request, the question was asked by Dhara Chawla. I would request you to please consult first before taking any medications from, any pharmacy or any vet. It's always better to consult first. So I'll take one more question here. So I think that can be answered well by Dr. Radhana. So Shivani has a question, Shivani Verma. She asked, because of the lockdown last year, I couldn't get their nails trimmed, which have become very long. I'm sure she's mentioning to her pets that she has. Now, whenever I go for trimming, the person says कि nerve आगे आ गई है, that's why ज़्यादा trim नहीं कर सकते हैं. I don't want them to get hurt, but the nails are very long. What should I do? I have 2 palms.
Okay. Normally, this is a situation wherein if you don't clip the nails for a longer time, the blood vessels, the blood supply comes in it. It's not the nerves. Basically, the blood vessels come in front. So ideal way is not to clip them very deep, but you can get it grinded slowly with the grinding thing, so that you won't injure the pet's this nails also, and still you can get the maximum you can go through it. So again, it will be done at the clinic only. So it's always better to, instead of clipping the nails, try to ask the groomer to grind it to the maximum extent. And over a period of time, once he'll start walking and he's going for a regular walks, they'll start going away on their own. So this will help him.
Right. So, Ms. Verma, I would request you to make sure that you do as Dr. Radhana has mentioned, take to the groomer and ask them to just grind the nails first instead of cutting to the, to the bottom. So coming back to our questions, and of course, I'll be taking more audience questions in the in between, as and when they come in between. So Dr. Vinod, Dr. Radhana, as you mentioned before, that each dog is different, and when dog visits you regularly, you're able to monitor their growth and understand their needs personally. How were you able to cater to this in the teleconsult, in the teleconsultations that you used to do?
Frankly speaking, Manvi, this is very difficult, but still what I do is I tell my clients to just make small videos where the dog is resting or when he is playing around, so that I can see his movement, I can see his growth, general body texture, we can see how healthy he is. So I always ask the clients to make small videos, maybe once he's playing around or maybe he's sitting down relaxing, and send it across to us. So month by month, once they are sharing the videos, so we are able to find out whether the growth is going on fine or not. Even I ask them to make up a mark on a wall or something and try to measure the height of the pet, how fine it is going, weigh the patient, and mention it on a monthly basis. So on these parameters, I try to judge whether he is growing fine or not. Yes, obviously the physical thing, that is like if I had been able to physically examine him, it would be always better. But still, we are trying to cope up in the existing situation by trying to teach and inform the client in a better way. So that's where we are trying to take care of it.
Thank you so much for taking that question. Dr. Pawan, coming to you this time, what are some of the new ways of working that were designed amidst, the COVID crisis? Were there any specific protocols that were followed? And how would you say that the whole veterinary practice has evolved in these tough and devastating times?
Yeah, so it's a quite important situation which has come. I know that Corona and COVID, this pandemic has brought lots of ups and downs, but it has it has brought a really good learning also, that whatever we used to do it, that we can do lots of change, and that we can suddenly take a different change and different makeover of the way we were working before. We used to work in a paper, completely everything on the paper, actually, that are writing it, giving the prescriptions and all those kind of things to the client. And of course, because now it became a situation whether handling their paper, handling their stuff, and all those, there was always a fear that the coronavirus or COVID is going to be transferred from here to there. So we brought a system that's a completely paperless, used all the methods actually, so like digital method, how we can kind of handle different situation, whether it is vaccinations or whether it is the kind of medical record, or it is a even the x-rays, or whether it is ultrasound or everything. So we slowly and steadily we brought everything as a paperless and a digital method. So that's one very important protocol and system we have been, with lots of difficulty, be able to evolve. We actually, because people are habitual of paper, but slowly that now I think most of our client comes without anything in their hand actually, and they everything is on their phone or mobile or an email actually. So that's one very important thing which has emerged out of this situation. And second thing, which is a kind of new, you can say the new normal which has come, is a e-consultation. So as I mentioned to you before, that less critical issues or no issues, like where the client wants to know certain basic things, or like a normal consultations about some not serious medical issues. So I think they can go to the e-consultation rather than visiting to the clinic. And there is another one system we able to kind of develop and evolve, not 100% to the way it should be, but yes, we able to kind of do quite a bit to the greater extent, and able to satisfy the client with that. Of course, it doesn't apply for the medical situations, major issues, or vital issues, but yes, for the minor issues, it can be definitely like nail cutting kind of questions. The other lady has asked actually that, or vaccination related information they like to know about, nutrition they like to know about, training they like to know, or some basic very minor issues. So e-consultation has been of great help. The other situation which came across, because before clients were visiting to the hospital and we were sharing the information and conveying to them in person actually. So, but now suddenly, because during the corona, we have found that today we are like that, and tomorrow there is a lockdown. Today it is day lockdown, tomorrow it's a night lockdown. So it was a different kind of situation we have encountered. But I think, and sometimes we have found a situation, like sometimes I'm positive for COVID, and sometimes my other staff is positive for COVID, and there was quite a bit of uncertainties were running, and we have to fumigate a clinic, and sometimes we have to kind of reduce certain activities and some stuff actually. So I think social media has been of great help, and we have used like our mass email system actually to inform the client about communication methods, and that has been because everyone was on digital and on emails and other things. So I think that's another thing which has really been of great help. So I can probably put it this way, that it's definitely been a tough situation, but it has brought a great learning also to modify, be flexible, to change yourself to a different situation, which is completely a person and human free actually. That though, as Dr. Vinod very very precisely mentioned, it's very difficult to do a physical exam for a dog or a cat and you cannot do a great job in that part. But certain things whichever could have been avoided, actually, where physical exam is not required and physical presence is not required, and where before it used to happen like that, with one pet their whole family used to come. Then we have requested them only one person accompany and those kind of things, so that load spread and stress can be reduced, because staff is terribly stressed, kind of handling the people, handling the pets, handling the emergencies and other things. So because already they are kind of overloaded with the situation. So I think lots of new thing has come, and I think every veterinarian is doing their best in the given situation, and they are to serve the animals and pets. I think lots of new things has evolved, and I think Dr. Aradhana or Dr. Vinod, already they are doing great job in this direction.
Right. So thank you so much, Dr. Pawan. We also have an audience question. So I would request if Dr. Vinod can take this question. What are the major ailments pets acquired for the reasons of less movement and being outdoor adequately by pets during the COVID situation? And what are the steps you advise to reduce those ailments?
See, first thing when we talk about the ailments, generally people they visit more often with the skin problems, ear infection, eye infection, all that. And that can be easily resolved with a good nutrition, good advice over the phone, proper deworming, timely vaccination. These things can be easily avoided. Things like surgery, as I said, use spay and neuter can be, we can easily postpone it. But when it is major surgery, we can't avoid it. But general things like skin I mentioned, hair fall I mentioned, as we had a question before, also eczema that can be easily, handled. Proper cleaning, proper maintenance, proper grooming. Ticks can be avoided by using regular medicines at home. We have many medicines now, but good shampoos also. So many things with proper care and management at home, if a pet parent can do. And I'm so glad in this situation, even a blessing in disguise, that the pets are the, the how to say it, a living being who got the maximum attention in this COVID time, because everybody was at home and spending time. And I'm thankful to every pet parent that they manage them so well that the situations like many problems they avoided by giving them a good care, good love, good nutrition, and good wash, good grooming, good brushing, everything. And they know better now. They are well educated in today's situation that what they need and how things they can be avoided. So something is good for us also, something good for the pets. Because yes, as Dr. You had question from Dr. Pawan earlier that how, where to walk them, when to walk them. It was a difficult situation. But I think so everyone coped up very well.
Very well. That's right. So connecting question, is there any preliminary physical check or monitoring per se that a parent can do at home to ensure that their pets are healthy?
See, first thing they can start with the mouth. They can open the mouth. They can see the dental health. They can see the smell, what type of a smell is coming, bad breath coming or anything. That is one. They can check the eyes, any discharge, any infection around. They can check the ears, any bad smell coming, any water coming, a lot of wax accumulation. They can check all these things at home. They can check the hair. They can check the nails. Dr. Aradhana said, like when they don't go them, we don't take them out, and then nails is a big problem. So nail is one. Then interdistal in between the digits, like the nails, they can check whether any infection or not, redness or not. Under the tail, they can examine it. Anal glands, they can easily feel it, whether there's a problem or not. Scrotal male dogs, if there's not neutered, then there is infection, continuous sitting on the ground, that can lead to the contact allergies. So small things when they examine, brush him regularly, move their hands on the body, they can feel the lumps in and out. Easy, it's a very easy job. If you just are regularly petting your dog, most of the things you come to know yourself. Diagnosis is a vet's job. He will do it. And I know unreal or unnatural things you will be easily, it will be easily noticeable. Easily you can do it. So
thank you so much for that, Dr. Vinod. And okay, coming to you, Dr. Aradhana. I'll take a question here, and I'll see if there's any audience question in the or the audience question that has been unanswered. We'll take that also. So, as being a pet parent myself, I understand that there are times we have obviously been struggling, and we are trying to adapt to the new ways of teleconsultations, and then there are certain situations that cannot be assessed without a physical consultation. So help us understand how we can differentiate if a teleconsult is enough, or when is the right time to take our vet out for a physical consultation.
Frankly speaking, Manvi, I am not at all a very happy person giving teleconsultation. I always feel that I don't feel comfortable until and unless I touch a patient. I feel a patient, what exactly the problems are. But yes, the teleconsultations are best in case of preventive things, like as we talked in case of how to train them, how to take care of the basic needs of the thing, like vaccination schedules or basic requirements that doesn't really require the treatment of the patient, like the prevention thing. That is the best part. But still, I suggest the owners that you go for a teleconsultation till the time you feel that the dog is like eating fine, he's active. The moment you feel that the patient is not active, or he is feeling low, or he is declining his 1 or 2 meals, then it is always better to get him physically examined. So till the time there's a small thing, like maybe some vomits or loose motions, or some small things that can be taken care of with the telecommunications and with the teleconsultations. But the moment you feel that the dog is not responding within a day's time or within 2 days' time, it's always better to come down to the doctor and show him physically, because the patient, the dog won't tell you anything. You have to judge it. So many a times the perception of the people varies. Like some people feel like it's a small thing, but in reality something major is happening. So with a tele thing, I prefer just wait for a day or maximum 2 days. And if the patient responds, it's perfectly fine. If he doesn't, then it's always better to rush him to the vet. So this is what I think.
Thank you so much for that. Dr. Pawan, it was made very clear by the researchers that there's no threat of COVID-19 infecting our pets, but there's also something which is known as the canine coronavirus, and the puppies are vaccinated against it too. So can you tell us the differentiate between the coronavirus, like as in the canine coronavirus and the COVID-19? And tell us what is the optimum timeline for a puppy to be vaccinated. Also, is canine coronavirus a zoonotic disease?
Right. So I think for human, I think it's a new virus, but we are dealing with this situation for many years, and we're studying this from quite some time. So this comes from a coronaviridae, that's a family of this virus actually, and so it's like whether it's a dogs has their own strain, like whether you call it is canine coronavirus. Cats or feline have their own coronavirus, so like that cause feline infectious peritonitis or coronavirus diarrhea that in cats we encounter. Same thing comes about the felidae, like whether it's a lion and tiger. Then bovines has bovine viral diarrhea, or poultry has their own virus, but it's from the same family, that's a coronavirus family or coronaviridae. So these are more species specific kind of virus which affect only to those species, and normally there is not a kind of cross reaction has been seen. Of course, there is quite a bit of they were studying about human Ebola virus that time, certain medication, and this is how the remdesivir, that particular one drug has come, and this is what is used in. So this is actually developed for the Ebola virus, but it became not successful there. Then they tried on feline peritonitis virus actually, and this is how the research has come. Through the cats, they're able to develop, and they are seeing the effect in humans. So that's how this medicine is doing a wonderful job for the human sector. So because these are mostly the species specific virus. So and yes, of course, canine coronavirus is not a zoonotic disease, because you specifically asked for the canine coronavirus. So I probably will tell about that part. It's not a genetic disease, doesn't affect, and we are seeing the patient of coronavirus or parvovirus from many years. Of course, it's a serious disease. It brings mostly the gastroenteritis kind of symptoms. It not as such a curable disease, because it's all depend upon the puppies or kind of a canine immune system. Mostly it's a disease of young puppies or young dogs. That's what we have encountered it. Quite a serious disease because it brings dehydration, vomiting, diarrhea, and all those kind of things in puppies. And mortality is comparatively less than canine parvovirus, but yes, it's also a fatal disease, of course. Then you asked other questions about the vaccinations, when the vaccination should be started. So normally it is advisable that vaccination should be started when the maternal antibodies are basically weaning off and wearing off from the system. Then vaccinations can be started. That is normally after 5 weeks of age, and normally we advise after 6 to 7 weeks that you can start giving coronavirus vaccine. Of course, a booster is required and then a reboostering is required, so that is in the gap of 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So I probably can conclude in this way that you can start vaccination between 6 to 8 weeks of age, then again repeat after 3 to 4 weeks, and then again repeat again like a reboosted between 3 to 4 weeks. And normally then annual vaccinations can be done for canine coronavirus. It is comparatively seen very less in this infection in the adult dogs, but yes, still there are possibilities, but mostly it's a disease of puppies. So this is about the coronavirus. So it's a very known virus into the animal kingdom actually, and it's existing from many years. But unfortunately, in human, it was there SARS, and then again it has come into the in this COVID-19 now actually. So it's a very well known in human sector now. So
Right.
that's what it's about that.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Pawan. So, Dr. Vinod, I also have an audience question for you. But first, I'll take the question that I have with me. So, during the pandemic, the demand for the veterinary services remained mostly unchanged, and as it is a very basic health necessity. But how challenging was it to manage this demand with the reduced staff? Dr. Vinod, I believe you're on mute and I cannot hear you.
Yeah, now it's fine. I think so. You can hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's the other way, like the demand increased. Basically, when you are at home and the children wanted more puppies, and there was so much of sale of pups, and number of the pet population actually has increased in the last 1 year. So demand was more vaccination, pet food, care, everything was like you get calls or they want to visit you or XYZ, but we have somehow the staff was trained, the training process was going on with us, and we were able to manage so perfectly. There was no issues on it. But definitely nobody can say veterinary demand is increasing day by day. We are growing day by day. Yeah.
I'm sure it
So
comes
what do you
with its
say?
own
What do you
pros and
say?
cons.
Yeah, what do you think, Dr. Aradhana and Dr. Pawan? I would like to ask you guys that how do you feel about this question? Situation. The pet population has gone up, and demand of the
Yes.
veterinarians has gone up.
Yes, I think the population has gone up like anything. The
Yep.
pups were coming in the market. So small
Yep.
pups were coming. People were ready to adopt even 21 days old pups. And there were loads of them coming to us. And every day we were facing the same problem. They are so small. Why are you adopting it? No, ma'am, we have got a child and he wants it and it's not available in the market because obviously the market is not able to meet the demand supply ratio. And that's why
But
there were lots and lots of pups were there.
But out here, where Dr. Aradhana has said just now, they're 20 days old or 30 days old. I would request all the people who are watching and just listening to us, they should not adopt less than 70 days or 80 days of farm,
Definitely.
because they need mother's milk. They need the best nutrition, and the best nutrition comes from the mother. तो माँ तो माँ है, like माँ से हमें नहीं बिछोड़ना चाहिए. That one has to be careful. And if they adopt early, puppies are very prone to sickness and all the viral diseases because of the less immunity and the bad immunity. And if they just go for the good age, like what I said, 80 days, 90 days, and about 60 days minimum, then immunity will be good and he will live long and a healthy life.
I think this message, what you just mentioned, Dr. Vinod, should reach masses because nowadays people just want, irrespective of number of months, days. So I request people to have a look at this message over and over again. So quickly, because we're very short on time now, I have a question for you again, Dr. Vinod. It's an audience question. My pet is a cardiac patient, and often we feel that he's having trouble breathing. Is there any way we can check his oxygen level via tongue or the gums?
We have pulse oximeters. One can easily check it, but that is done by the veterinarian, not at the home. He will guide you how to go about it. And then we can use other methods also. So I think it's better to visit a vet and then use the proper method of doing it.
Okay.
Not the normal procedure. Yeah, please.
That's it. That was the only question I wanted to you to answer. Next question, I would request Dr. Pawan if you can take the next question. Mamta Bhatnagar, she has a question and she asks, my Shih Tzu has a rash near her paws, but I'm scared to get her to the clinic due to the lockdown and COVID. What should I do?
Okay, and that's a little broad question. The rash can be a simple dermatitis, and it can be because of some foreign body. So it's a little difficult to tell. But if the dog is, I'm just kind of putting it as a general situation. So if it is only one rash, and if it is not that he's not very uncomfortable with that, then probably kind of any local antiseptics he can use, like diluted betadine 1:5 ratio. He can clean it up, and she can just ensure that he doesn't lick it actually. So she can use some Elizabeth collar or something. But if this rash is bigger size and if it is in more than 2-3 places, I think then she should get it diagnosed actually better by some skin scraping or by taking it to a vet actually. But if it is only at one place, I would suggest she can just go first with being it's not a critical problem, she can just try with using Elizabeth collar so that he doesn't lick, and second, cleaning with a diluted betadine. I think that's something she can just do it at the basic level.
Sure. I hope that helps Mamta for her little Shih Tzu. Next question, I would request Dr. Rana to take up the next question. Nidhi Mahindra, she is asking, the pet is 6-year-old Labrador weighing around 40 kgs and faces a lot of gastric issues and farts a lot. We sometimes give him Diagene 7 ml, but sometimes it's not effective. Please suggest us what can be done. He makes a lot of continuous short barks and doesn't sleep well due to gas.
What I feel is, first of all, he seems to be a overweight dog. So I feel the activity levels and the exercise needs to be increased. Plus, his diet is a very important thing in this, because gas formation is directly related to the diet. If he's on a dog food diet, so better to stick to the concentration that is mentioned on the level, because many a times we have a tendency of overfeeding the dogs, whatever is mentioned on the level. The second thing is, if he's on home cooked diet, try to give him more of a fibrous diet. Add some maybe boiled vegetables and fibers to his diet, so that the motions and everything is taken care of. Diagene, yes, he is saying that it helps. Apart from there, you can give some carminatives as well. Like there are Himalayan products like Digiton Plus. These type of things help in releasing the gas. But the basic aim should be non-production of the gas. That can be monitored by the activity as well as the dietary changes. So it's always better to discuss it with someone in detail about the diet and the activity levels, so that these type of things could be managed easily.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Radha. So I have 3 audience questions. Quickly, I would just request one doctor to take up the question. So we can begin with Dr. Vinod, because I believe you're very short on time. And I think a lot of people are also waiting for you back down there. I don't want to hold you up here. So quickly, first question from the audience, I would request you to take that. My 5-year-old GST has stopped eating since a week. I can't even go to the dog as my house is in quarantine. I'm very scared.
See, in these conditions, it's better if she can just do the rectal temperature test, like she can just do the rectal temperature. So you get a thermometer. If there is any temperature, she can always just call a vet nearby or his regular vet over the phone that my dog is having temperature or anything. Number one, because just guiding the medicines will not help. Not eating could be many factors to it. Either if they are having some problems, could be gastric problem, could be fever, could be tick fever, the season is going on, could be many other factors. So this is one, she can do it. And always she can check the deworming. She can start with the. I can just advise you as Dr. Aradhana and Dr. Pawan also advise normal things like Digene and liver tonic. That is the one medication which is safest medicine to be used in these conditions, but without examining and proper checkup. At least she can do a rectal temperature done. If she had the temperature, we can just guide over the phone, and the vet can guide over the phone what it to be given. It is. I will not advise anything over the phone because if it's not eating 5 to 7 days, it's an emergency thing. She should definitely consult the nearby vet.
Sure. Next question, I would request Dr. Pawan to take up the next question. Shafali Rani, she asks, are there any regular vaccinations that one must get done for their dogs?
Yeah,
quickly, just answer, within seconds, if we can just take up this question.
So there are two kinds of vaccine. One is essential or core vaccines, which include rabies, canine parvovirus, distemper, hepatitis, and or adenovirus. So these are the core vaccines which should be done. And then there are some optional vaccinations like kennel cough or corona and other things. These are optional vaccinations, but I think the rabies and the core vaccines are very important, which should be given after 6 weeks of age. Then every 3 to 4 weeks, they should rebooster and booster it, and then annual vaccination. Yes, and which is very, very important. They should not neglect that.
Right. So another question, another audience question, and then I think we can get done with the audience questions. Veer Jain, he asks, I have a 3-year-old Labrador, and he's active but not that good in having food. I'm vegetarian. So is Sheru, I believe that's his name. Any suggestions?
What I feel is that since he is active, but he's reducing down on the diet, it might be because of the weather itself, because all of a sudden the summers have set in. So try to increase his activity, maybe add a liver tonic that will help in boosting the things. But if he is having at least 70 to 75% of his normal diet, there's nothing to worry about. If he is reduced down or further reduced down, then it is something to worry. And for that, a physical examination should be done. He should be examined.
Thank you, Dr. Radna. And I just have one last question. Anyone can just, take up this question. Okay, this is of course related to the diet only. So at such times when the pet's activity is of course restricted, should parents make a change in their diet to ensure their health? Is there a rule of thumb that can be followed?
Okay, Manvi, I'll take it up. What I feel in the growing stage, I don't think there should be any change. What I feel is the diet is a necessity in the growing stage. You can increase upon the activity. If you're not able to take him out, you can increase the activity in any way within the house. But once if he's a mature dog or he's a grown-up dog, during that time you can reduce down upon the volumes so that the bulk thing is reduced and he doesn't go towards the obesity. But the concentrated diet should be there. I personally prefer a dog food diet during this stage because they provide a totally balanced thing, and the chances of overeating is less. Any doctor, if you want to add on something.
Yeah, maybe activity level and the age, that can also be considered while giving the food.
Right.
Yeah, I think you all have answered well. Yes, so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. And with this, of course, also looks like the time is up and we will have to end the live session now. I had a great time, having a great conversation with all of you. And of course, you've taken all the questions extremely well. Once again, thank you so much to all of you for taking, the time out from your busy schedules and joining us this evening. And the most awaited Vet Talk on the World Veterinary Day. We thank you for your hard work and the constant support to the pet parents in these challenging and tough times, and getting to know insights of the veterinary practices and learning that we are prepared for the way ahead gives us all the much needed hope that we need at this point in time. So thank you so much, and 3 cheers to all of you here, to the 3 doctors and all the doctors around the world who are making sure that there is no patient who is not supported at the time of the need. So thank you so much. Hip hip hooray. Thank you so much. all the
Thank
pet
you.
owners and pet lovers a very happy World Veterinary Day, and keep loving your pets, keep taking care of them, and give them all the love that you can, because this is what they need the most.
Love it.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Stay safe.
Stay
Thank you,
safe.
Doc. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Stay
No
safe,
problem.
stay healthy, and
Thank you. Namaskar.
we keep on having these live sessions over and over again. And take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here, and we'll see you
Thank
very
you.
soon.
Welcome. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone.